G'day, guys, and welcome back to Season 4, Episode 6 of the Supercoach Swordplay podcast. You're on with me, Janath, and I'm joined by two great Supercoach brothers, and brothers by heart, really. Supercoach with DR and Spills. Jam-packed week. I'm just glad the best 18 rounds are over. We'll chat about how we're going, so I'll handball it over to you, DR. How are you going, mate? Did you have a good week? Obviously, some news you had to spill out on your round review last night. Floor is yours.
Oh, mate, yeah, look, interesting weekend. The Supercoach side didn't perform too well, as you can see on the screen. Then the little fella had a bit of an injury at football, so I had to take him in the hospital, spend the night with him. But all good now, mate, in good spirits at home. The smile went in the face as soon as I got him the old sausage and egg McMuffin on Macca's on the way home. So that tends to make things feel a lot better when you get some Macca's into you, mate. But yeah, I have got so many comments on my round review video that I just have not got to yet. But I appreciate all the well wishes. Thank you very much, everyone. It is really much appreciated. I've legitimately just not had time to get back to you, but I certainly will in the next day or so anyway. But boys, haven't we got a quick turnaround this week? I'll quickly get to my round review, and then Spillsy, we'll see how you're going, mate. And then we might go to the host to see if he's still top of the pod. Spoiler, I think he may be. But boys, a little bit controversial. Spills and I had a Cash League matchup this week. And before we get to these round reviews here, just want to show you something. We'll get this graphic up. You can see that Spillsy put a bit of a post up here, and I replied, Spills, we are equal here at the moment, mate. 19.09 a piece, playing for $1,500 here, if you don't mind. And then it was pretty much up to the Supercoach gods. And if we go back to this one here, we can see that the gods gave me an extra point and took one away from Spillsy. So all of a sudden, DR is the winner by 2 points there. So Spills, I'm laughing now, right? I shouldn't be laughing, mate, because I legitimately feel bad about it. But, look, it's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, as you know, brother. I legitimately would have much rather a draw, because we've never had a draw before. So it would have been something special, particularly in a cash league. That would have been a story we could tell the grandkids, and they could tell their grandkids later on in life, Spillsy. But unfortunately, mate, I did get the chockies this week, 19-10. Unfortunately, though, the season rank did take a slight hit, 3,189 in the top 2% now. So did fall out of the top 1%, but not a disaster tight round. It was still below par, but I don't think it was massively below par. So a couple of heroes. Butters did really well. Lots of underperforming PREMOS, though, weren't there? There was so much carnage with subs in my team. We'll get to my rant in a little bit, but yeah, not too good this week. And we'll get to the rookies. There's not a heat coming up on the horizon. We're going to go through a little bit of a tough patch here, a little bit of a famine, I think, in Supercoach. So we might talk a little bit of trading strategy later on. I've got a couple of things in mind, but I'm looking at some potential value this week. But yeah, pretty ordinary round for me. Spillsy, I obviously did two better than you, mate. But tell us firstly how you're going, and then get into your Supercoach, my man.
Yeah, I'm good, boys. Yeah, we'll say just straight off the bat is I did watch your round review, and yeah, I really do hope Nashy's all right. It reminds me last year when I got concussed in a dangerous sling tackle, and yeah, it scared me out of playing footy. I haven't played a footy game since, so yeah, very courageous from him. So I hope he's doing well. And in regards to Supercoach, yeah, the cookie definitely crumbled your way. Just I don't really know how it did, because we had the exact same players in that North Hawthorn game. So I don't really know what happened here, but look, you're just such a goat at Supercoach. So I think, yeah, the gods just took great care of you. So yeah, I won't argue with you there, man. It's a good win, and yeah, you did pick me off in the cash league. That's all right. But yeah, I thought I was going really well early days, but then I think Charlie Common's a bit of a pod, and yeah, he was one that really hurt me. Both of us, mate. It was a tough pill to swallow, because yeah, he was looking so good. He was on about 20 points in the first 3 minutes, took like 3 intercept marks. So that's one mark a minute. And then, yeah, he gets thrown forward. So absolute headaches there. VC'd Bonapally. So yeah, took that 125, which is by far my lowest VC score so far. So I'm pretty happy with that conversion, but also concerned at the same time because I'm getting all these solid VC captaincy scores, but I'm sitting at 7K, so which isn't bad, but nowhere near as good as you guys. And I think you got to wonder what the rest of the team's doing because I'm getting by with the captains, but yeah, things around me just seem to be falling apart. I'm not really sure exactly what it is. I know Grundy bounced back. He's still very high line. There's a few players that I didn't have that did make me pay 5 others over like a Sam Darcy fight. So it's just I think I just got a few things to fix up, but I think we're heading in the right direction. I'm very keen to get these trades done this week. So look, going right, boys, but not as good as you guys. And yeah, hopefully we can start climbing up the ranks because 1.2K drop. That's pretty bad, seeing where I'm ranked at the moment. So we'll see what happens, boys.
You'll bounce back, mate. Absolutely.
Class is permanent, Spills. Well, I'll start off with just saying same as Spills to you, DR. Just hope the young boy Nash is okay. That jersey in the background reminds me a lot of a young Eagle on the weekend. Harley Reid, sort of his breakout game, 19 disposals, 3 goals, 147. He was the highlight of my, I'll say, birthday weekend. So it was my birthday on Friday.
Happy birthday, mate.
Hey, mate.
You know that.
Yeah, Spill, do you want to give a little rendition, mate? You've got the voice of an angel, I've heard, mate, as good as those pipes.
Oh, there's no way. There's no way. I cannot sing.
Off
air. Off air, yeah. I'll go down
after a few beers, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what? Though I need that rendition after probably the worst trade I've ever done. And in hindsight, I was messaging you, DR, after Riley Sanders' name sub, there was a complete fiasco and just everything. I'd had too many DMs. I'm sorry if I haven't got back to you. I probably still haven't got back to you because I'm recovering from trading Brody Grundy to Rowan Marshall, slapping the big VC on Rowan Marshall. It felt like everything went wrong in that trade. And I look back and I'm like, I'd still probably make the trade because everything... Grundy has the hardest matchup in the AFL for Supercoach-wise, Ruckman. Marshall is one of the easiest. Marshall is going up against who some say he was robbed off the All-Australian ruck position by Tim English. He's in good form. Thursday night lights. It's everything, and then it goes kaput. And a lot of like you boys are saying, a lot of the PREMOS really struggled this week. Even Isaac Heaney failed to ton up. Luke Ryan failed to ton up, but then Sack Butters, you just had to get a good C this week. I reckon that's what saved a lot of scores. And I think 127 in a week like this feels like 150 in another week. It was just one of those weeks. So I did. I held on to the Kirch, and this may bite me in the end, but he's a good rookie, and I see that he wasn't going to be played in the midfield, and it's just a psychological thing. A bloke coming off of broken or bruised ribs was never going to be played in the midfield, so it was always going to be played on the outside, whether it was wing or the half back line. So just like I can hold him. I've got good enough rookies to cash in the coming weeks, especially our forward. That Kirch is one that you can hold through to the buys. Other teams may differ. Like you boys, I think both of you traded out McKercher last week.
Yep.
And so it ended up being Jack Carroll, another one of the subs that went for Will Graham in the end, which I think DI is the perfect segue into your rant because I think I have a feeling that we might be going to a fast food chain.
Oh, mate. Now, I'll tell you, we've got 3 fellas here at Subway today, and I'm going to keep this pretty short. I'm not going to tee off on Bevo again. I'd love to. It's almost becoming a regular occurrence. You can see on the red there, on the left-hand side in order. We've already gone off at Nick Martin. I wanted to put multiple pictures of Bevo there, and maybe I should. Spills gave a bit of a rocket to the volcano. Champion data with Tom Powell and Darcy Wilson, etc. I'll tell you, I'm not going to go back to champion data. They hate Tom Powell. I swear they miss tackles from this bloke. They are clear tackles in the centre square. Doesn't get credit for him. I won't go there this week, but come on, those kids at the BP Servo the other week. I won't give them a rocket, only kids, but come on, fellas, give me a bit of love rather than giving me a serve. But this is the Subway boys. Now, super frustrating, guys, when you don't expect it. Now, I legitimately, and people may differ on this, I just did not expect to see Sanders as a sub this week. I thought, surely this is the perfect time for Bevo to say, look, you chuck the dummies out, but that's right, mate. We're going to back you in. It's your chance to really prove what you can do in that midfield without liberating the side. Let's back you in, mate. Do your best work. No, we're going to chuck Eddie Richards in there. So, yeah, I just didn't see that one coming. And as you said, Janath, I didn't want to panic trade. Now, the first initial response was to, geez, we better trade Sanders. But then it was a matter of, well, I wasn't expecting this. I'm now going to probably make an upgrade. Is it a Sarong? Is it a Rao type? Which one do I want? I just want more time to make that decision and assess these options and look deeply, because half an hour, whatever we had up our sleeve just wasn't enough for me at that time. So very frustrating there. High break even this week, I think, is pretty much a must trade. Williams obviously wasn't his fault. That was an injury. Hopefully he might be right for this week. We'll wait and see there. And Massimo. Now, Janath, you might want to jump in for a little rant here, mate, because I believe you traded Mass. Now, I'm having a bit of a rant because he got subbed out, but what's your little mini rant on Massimo or maybe the scoring system this week, mate?
Well, I traded him out 2 weeks ago, so I may be a bit salty here. But come on, 9 disposals, 1 contested possession, 3 marks, and he gets 60. I'm not a Lockie Whitfield owner, but if Lockie Whitfield had nine disposals, 3 marks, and a contested possession, he'd be on bloody 25. There's no way Massimo should have been on 60. He was on 53 when he got subbed out. He got 7 points scaling after he got subbed out. You know what? DR, I have a genuine question for you, mate. How much did you give to Champion Data to get you over the line against Phil's?
I'll tell you what, yeah.
Couple of
dibs. True story. Very quickly, I know we want to get through this quick, right? I remember year 7, there was this bloke. You know how they do the old SRC, the Student Representative Council? This was dead set. 3 dimmies a vote. It was. He won by an absolute landslide, because us blokes, mate, we didn't care it was the SRC. It's like, sure, mate, if I'm getting 3 fried dimmies, absolutely. So he lost a bit of coin, but did get the position, and within a month was spewing because he had to attend all these meetings at lunchtime. So didn't work out too well. Didn't work out too well.
Seriously, come on. Massimo, you should be happy with the 60 DR. Come on, don't complain here with Massimo. As a non-owner, yes, he goes at 190%, but come on, the kicks, Nash could be making those kicks. He should be making those kicks. Come on.
It wasn't anything special, mate. And you're right. Look, the other quick thing, because I'll stop the rant there really, but just one thing to watch for Massimo is he's got the late game. We still don't know who's going to start at sub. So what I'm possibly looking to do, remember, he's got DPP. Now, I'm lucky I've got your Dacos and Martin in the midfield. I'm most likely going to emergency him. If I don't trade him out, I'm going to chuck the emergency on him and play someone else over him, whoever that player is. So just a bit of word of warning, whatever, if you do keep Mass, be very careful having him on field. There is still a sub potential. Maybe the potentially doesn't play. I'm not too sure. They've got some blokes coming back, but yeah, rant ended there. Just wanted to, give that little bit of info and something to watch out for with Mass, mate.
That's great, mate. I guess what we'll go into next is as sort of taken away from the lighthearted, and we'll just chat a bit about the current state across the league in terms of injuries and whatnot. The big news for the vast majority of owners, 78% of the competition, Harley Reid will be rested this week, according to Tom Morris. There's nothing official yet. Eagles will be able to announce the extended team tomorrow. I would imagine that Harley wouldn't be a part of that team. And yeah, Tom Morris normally has good credentials. Kata at the bottom has said via Sam Edmund on SEN that Marty Hoare is available but hasn't been selected for their game tomorrow on Anzac Eve against the Tigers. D, I know you're an owner. Does this sort of spell the end for Marty Hoare, even though Jake Biao is not back?
Very, very much so, because I thought if there's a time for him to come in, it's in now while your Salems, etc. aren't there. I've heard maybe they think they might be a little bit tall with him in, but this is not good news because I thought as soon as he's available, if these guys are still out, perfect. He's going to slot in. And to be honest, that's why I haven't corrected him because I assume that would happen. So it's not good news. And I actually, know someone that knows Marty quite well. And at the beginning of the season, he did say that he'd have to rely on injuries, in his own words, to probably get a spot in that 23. Guess what? We've got injuries, but there's still no spot. So that is a concern for me, mate. Yeah. Something to think about anyway.
That's all.
Massive news.
Yeah, it is tough, but I guess on the bright side, well, not for this week at least, but if Marty Hall isn't available, you could use him as a loop. For those that may just have him, some benches. I'm not sure if you could just you got Hall and who's at your D8 right now?
Zach Reed. Zach Reed.
So,
and I've got Zach Williams as well. So for me,
plays the first game too, so you can't really use him.
That's not this week's Bills for sure.
It's tough, and that's why for me, and this is personal situation, Zach Williams is if he doesn't play, he's a must trade out because I'm getting a donor
I'm getting rid of him regardless.
Fix a rookie, fix one of the dead rookies. We need cash at the moment, so it's such a fine balance between that. But the other thing, boys, is if we look at the teams here, Wednesday, you're not used to that.
Wednesday.
Ins for Richmond, Grimes, Naismith, for those that don't have Livingston there, Hopper and Banks out, Sonzi, short for the very few owners that have kept faith with him, Kaczynski, but Kane McAuliffe. Kane McAuliffe is omitted. Boys, we did say last week, very, very dangerous going early. We didn't recommend to go McAuliffe early or your biggie types. It was a bit of special
consideration.
Couldn't
have screamed it any louder, DR, that one.
Yeah, exactly.
We all went in on it,
Yeah, it can work out because if you had have gone with Hugo Garcia, you're in a bit of a different boat and you're like, okay, well that worked out. So it can work out. But more often than not, I think we've played Supercoach for a while, boys. It's very dangerous territory doing it. But look, unfortunate for those people that did, but there's always risk. You take on these risks and hopefully he'll come back sooner rather than later. And the injury report, guys, and shout out to Kata. Thank you for that, great man. The great Klopp as well. You need to follow him if you don't on Twitter. You are definitely missing out. We've just got some quick injury updates here. Williams is a test along with Libba, Parker. Chura maybe the 1 week. Sam Berry, a test. Reed 2 to 3. It seems like it's been 2 to 3 for a while. So we'll see what happens there. Ridley 4. So we can see the 2 number 14s in the background there. Spiels, you'll be very excited to see that man back in the field.
4 more weeks.
I just want to watch him.
You do, don't you, mate? You want to see your favourite players on the field,
absolutely. Him, but I just want to see him out there,
That's it, mate.
Shorty gone. Hopper available, not really relevant. Prestia 2 weeks. Now, this is the thing with Prestia out. I assume that McAuliffe might keep his spot, but it is what it is. Brad Crouch out as well. Maxi King is a test for anyone that does own him, but I think most would have probably traded him out. Anything else before we leave latest news, boys?
I would add to the fact that the risk with going early on McAuliffe, but at the same time, for those that went early on Garcia, and this was one of the reasons why I chose not to make that last-minute impulsive trade on Sanders, is Garcia is probably the only rookie you could really trust this week. Like, we'll chat a bit more later about your biggie Nuon types. They just don't feel with much confidence.
If you've already got it.
That's the issue, mate. Exactly.
It's bare bones. We're really falling into the James Tunstall, Will Hamels, or going early on another rookie from next week. And that this can repeat a really dangerous cycle because you end up in a week and there's no rookies and you can't make an upgrade in that week. And so let's hope for the sake of a lot of coaches out there that Zach Williams pulls up well. The news is from the track as well as after the game as well. He was quite precautionary. He was in good spirits, no sort of ice or anything like that. But when you get an Achilles knock, it's the old skateboard or the scooter incident where you get the Razor scooter coming around and you just get a knock on the back of your Achilles there. Oh, those are not nice. They did not feel very nice. But that's basically the extent of the injury. And so hopefully, for the sake of Carlton fans and super coaches, we can see Zach Williams out there this week. Let's move on then to talking a bit about some of the talking points. And one of the one of the big ones, obviously, is the rookies, the dearth of rookies that we have. And we'll just chat a little bit about the rookie data dump, a shortened version, as always, for Supercoach, for the Swordplay podcast in particular. For our audio listeners, I'll try to summarize it, but basically we got the normal data dump in yellow. We've got some highlight of the new players that have sort of come up, which are Lockie Cowan, Jake Rogers, Lee Kalia, who looked really good on the weekend. If he could really come on as a
How was
Supercoach
that
prospect
spoil
in a
he
couple of
did?
years.
That was
Jeez,
unbelievable.
He's got a good leap. It was a bit funny. He went off the ground for 5 minutes, and Harry Mackay's put two over Harry Himmelberg. Said he comes back on. He's like, oh, I was gone for 5 minutes, mate. Yeah,
come on.
That was when we really arrested the momentum in that game, which is good. Jai Sarong, Jordan Sweet, Riley Garcia. So off those 6 plays, these are the 6 which we will expect to have as our bubble rookies next week. And that's really important to sort of forecast, because if I'm looking at those 6, I think Riley Garcia, if he holds, is a tick. Jake Rogers looked good, bad roll. Lockie Cowan looked good, didn't score overly well, and we've seen with Lockie Cowan last year, he can look amazing, and then ended up with, I think it was 51. He scored 51 3 straight times last year's Bills, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
But it's quite bare bones for next week. And in blue, we can see they're the new DPP additions, and so I've kept a couple of sort of Alex Sexton handy DPP, because it just means that if we don't just have to leave him at F8 for the whole season and then not be able to do anything about it. Ollie Dempsey got mid forward, McKercher, defensive mid, Comben, defensive forward. So possibly if you have Comben and Sexton, DR, you could do something there where you can move them up and back. So that's just something to consider. Matty Roberts, a really, really good rookie. Honestly, you could just park him at D6 and just be happy with it until the buy sort of thing. Yep. He's really good. Sanders, mid forward. Buku Karmas, another with that defensive forward swing. So Karmas and Sexton owners have that sort of flexibility there. And then Harvey Gallagher got mid forward as well. This week, if I was to say who to bring in, I would go Hugo Garcia from the Saints at number 1, and then Biggie Nguyen if he's named number 2, and then it's complete potluck, really. There's not much else that you would confidently say go for. James Tunstall and Will Hamill didn't make this list, but they're also in the 123 to 144K range, but really don't fill you with much confidence as a trading target. Huge
sub risks, both of them.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to add about this?
I like Lekalia. I thought his game was really good. Not the best scoring, but his job on Harry Mackay early was pretty solid, I thought. But yeah, a few spoils. Not going to be the best scorer, but maybe he's just someone that we look to correct a Pink or a Caulfield or a Hoare.
But
maybe.
How about with Taylor coming back skills?
Yeah, I was going to say, probably doesn't hold his spot with Sam Taylor coming back.
He does enough, but there's literally no one else. Like Jake Rogers, he's going to be a regular sub. Biggie is on the bubble this week, and unless you have a boost or you go and double down, I don't know if I like the idea of coughing up more than 150K for him.
I don't like Biggie, man. I'm off Biggie because
I've never really been hot on Biggie, so there's literally nothing unless
there is Blake Jury, and we know last year that he's a bit of a volatile scorer, small forward, and
terrible role in a terrible team.
That's it.
I wouldn't go anywhere near him. He'll be a dead rookie before you know it. So you're almost backing. Hopefully, someone makes their debut and just absolutely sets the world on fire. That's what we want.
What about this, boys? Is there any credence in going for Mikel Lafau from the Tigers? We know he's going to play. He's in the Wednesday. He's got 100 in his last game, so it's part of his rolling average. I know the great Tim Mitchell's got on him. It's sort of his boy.
It's his. What are his other scores though, Janath? Have you got his other scores?
You have to go now.
It's not great. It's not great viewing. It's 26, 39, 49, and 108 against West Coast.
I suppose it's trending upwards, but that they are decimated with injuries. You know that what you're getting here is job security. So with lots of these blokes, And it's in a way expected at this time of the year with the rookies that we're getting at times. Job security is just not great. Any one of those blokes in yellow, I would not be surprised whatsoever to see them omitted. Not in the slightest.
Even
right?
even Riley Garcia is. We're just saying
Yeah.
that
Every chance to
we
get
sort of
dropped.
have to go for
Every
it, but he
chance.
could be a sub. He's coached by Bevo. Like
There's no way.
We've
Like
seen so many cases. Yeah.
And
this
but
is the
with
week
Biggie,
where it's like the week where we're real. Like where's Dan Curtin at? Like so we need
Yeah.
someone
Dan
to just
Curtin
come
action.
out and play a pivotal role. Someone that can come out and just score a 70 on debut and look really good.
That's it.
Like just someone we can go early on with confidence. This would be the week where he gets named, but it's just so hard. Like, what do we do? Who do we go down to?
How about this one, boys? DL, how would you if Henry Hustwaite is named in the middle or in the on ballers, because he's been sub, I think, 3 or 4 times already this year.
He has.
Would you go for him at 152K if you're looking at boosting and you need another rookie? You just need another one.
If he doesn't get sub and plays a good game.
I think the good thing this week is that, and this is just a prediction from me, and I could be completely wrong. If he's named, I don't think he's going to be the sub, because that would be, 3... How many weeks in a row that is a sub? Surely you need to get a full game into the bloke. Like, surely you need a full game.
He's played 4 games this season, but I just can't remember how many he's played as the sub.
I asked Geelong the same question about Clark.
He's played 4. He's played all 4 of his games. The last 4 rounds, he's been the sub in all 4 of them. I think.
Surely you need to give this bloke like a full run, either in the ones or in the resis, mate. I'd be really surprised, and again, I've been surprised a lot this year, so I could be wrong. But if he's named in the 23, I don't think he's going to be sub.
Yeah.
The issue is moving forward. You've got your Will Days to come back. You've got your CJs coming back. There's a fair few players to actually get in that side, and then we may be even a little bit worried about Mass's job security here, Mr. D'Ambrosio. So, yeah, I'm not too keen on Hawks at the moment. I will quickly talk about Jimmy Tunstall. Just like Kyle Lohman, this bloke has sub written all over him. We've got Connor McKenna coming back into the side. I think Dev Rob's got a shoulder, so he's still out. Not a heap of blokes banging down the door at the moment. So, look, he's a decent type player. If he gets full games, then he'll be okay. But I think even the Brisbane Lions supporters with the most knowledge out there couldn't tell you whether or not he's going to get subbed or start or come off. So it's a bit of guesswork. It's a bit of luck, a bit of pot luck, I think, with this one. Selecting him, just hope that he gets full games. Maybe there's injuries to other players, to avoid the sub there. And last one I'll quickly talk about is Biggie. I'm not big on Biggie. I'm small on Biggie because we've got Dawson to come back, and I really thought, and look, we may give him a bit of leeway because I know he copped a knock, may have been a little bit sore, but he had the chance there in the second half in particular to really stamp himself with that spot. Comben was shifted forward, so it's like, all right, Biggie, you step up, mate. Let's see what you can do in the second half here. And to me, it wasn't really much at all. So he did a couple of nice things, and I think you will every game do a couple of nice things, but he needs to do more than a couple of nice things, in my humble opinion, to make him a good Supercoach pick. And in order for him to be a good Supercoach pick, he needs to be playing in the side. So I think with Dawson coming back, I'm just so worried about this. You go to Lafau. He's 184. Do you know what? It is, but do you take the risk and just go with job security here and just hit it hard for a couple of weeks? And I don't know, man. But
the other part,
terrible.
The other part of this is that if you're going Lafau, you don't even see if Biggie's named, because the game is tomorrow. Teams drop on Thursday, so it's almost like. This is the toughest part about this game is, even with the Anzac Day game, both of the Anzac Day games, Melbourne, Richmond, and Collingwood, Essendon both happened before the Thursday teams are dropped. That will make it, I guess there's not as many relevant players, but for instance, even for you, Spills, bringing in Merritt, you have no idea what's coming at teams when you trade them in.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make it really difficult. It is a risk,
Hey, I'll throw a left field one very quickly, Janath. Left field one. What do you reckon Naismith's job security is like? A bit of Livingston action down to the forward line.
Yeah.
Trade out someone
It's
using
not the
DPP. So you
worst.
got Sanders, get your Harley Reid into your midfield for that
Yeah.
Sanders spot if you had him on field, and then get your Naismith in early. Like with Lynch out for what is it, 12 weeks? Bolter, I think's for 8.
If he
Do we
looks good,
see?
then
Would you rather
he
Do we
might be
see
our
next
guy
week, though,
there
Dia? Maybe next week.
next
You could
week
go
because he's
Garcia
got a
and
big
Naismith.
scoring
That could be your
system.
boot.
Do you know, maybe
Yeah.
that could be next week if he's still in, because he's got that big one,
That's
Spills. You're right. But the issue is he was solo
yes,
ruck then,
solo
wasn't he?
Yeah,
ruck,
but
yeah.
He's still got
they're
Nank in the side.
absolutely they are riddled. They are like
Yeah.
they're like last year's West Coast at the moment. Like
That's what we're talking about. This bloke from what's his name? From Richmond. I forget his name. Like I keep on Lafau.
And Camus.
That's why we're Lafau. Well, that's why we're even not suggesting to get him, but discussing the option of
No,
getting him.
it's a really good. I
Because
think
of
one
their
of the things that I'm worried about, DI, is you're going up against Max Gorn. Could this just be a Max Gorn thing where you play the 2 rucks to really try to combat Gorn, who in the past has had your number with the Tigers number? The last thing you want is you bring in Naismith this week, he's dropped next week because they're not playing Max Gorn every week.
Oh, huge risk, mate. Huge risk. Like this is one for the real out there people. It just sort of occurred to me, like I'm just thinking forward, like who else? What could you do?
He'd have to look really
It's
good.
a tough one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We'll assess it next week.
We'll see next week.
He'll be very
Honestly, if Naismith puts out a 60, he's probably in next week, just alongside Garcia, because I know for a lot of coaches,
his name. Yeah.
You've got Tim English, Tom Green, both of them are bottoming out. There's going to be others that bottom out as well that may not bottom out as much, but both of them look good. Maybe in Tom Green, you could even wait a week. We'll see on that. But good chat there, boys, on the rookies. I guess we'll go to our next talking point, which is we've sort of gone with our version of the Brady bunch with Bevo's bunch, and we're just going to chat 4 dogs. I want a 1-sentence answer from you boys. Okay, so we'll start off with Sanders. Trade or not? Start with you, Dia.
Trade.
Hell yeah.
He's gone 1 word.
I just jumped in there,
one
Janath,
word. Hell yeah, I'll go 2 words. One word. Yes. Yes.
No, we'll go 1 word for Sanders. I think is a trade as well. The break even is too much, and I think really, and this is the disappointing part, boys, isn't it? Is that Libba was out. If there's one game for Sanders to reset that break even, it would have been against sort of that vanilla St Kilda midfield, and wouldn't you know it, he doesn't get any centre bounces even after he comes on. It's just a dead pick now. How much money did we make? We made 110K. In the grand scheme of things,
could have been so much
what could have
more
been
than that.
100%. But you take the 110K and you say adios, 107 break even.
Run to the hills and never look back.
Yeah.
Next one's a bit more difficult, boys. I'll give you guys a sentence for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Jack McRae. Discuss.
Former Supercoach royalty and would love to go there, but I can't do it.
This week or ever? What do you need to see? Let me rephrase it. What do you need to see to say Jack McRae is top 6 forward, or I'm happy to bring Jack McRae into my side?
All right. Well, very, very, very quickly, mate. Like, as I said, we're talking about former Supercoach royalty here. Season averages 2013 to 2024, 60, 100, 194, 107, 127, 123, 121, 129, 115, 100, and then 76 currently this year. They're all rounded, obviously. But the question is, boys, how much of this is Bevo's fault and how much of it is legitimately McRae's form? How much of it's role? There are just so many questions to me. You know, CBA rating games, 48%, third team of the sub, 29, even 34 last week. I just don't know. I've got so many question marks. And when I've got so many question marks, I don't like going there. You know, what do I need to see? Probably, to be honest, just another game of triple figure score. If I see another triple figure score, I may look to go there. But at the same time, I'm quite happy with my personal current setup, with Harley Reid and Nat Fyfe occupying probably a spot that he would be. I don't know how much of an upgrade he will be on them for the coin I'm paying.
Yeah.
So, sorry, much more than the sentence. Spilsy?
That's okay.
Yeah, I would say wait to see what those CBAs and mid-time look like when Libba comes back into the team. So they've obviously given Sanders the arse. That's the obvious one.
Yep.
And then Richards has come in, so that's a like for like. But Libba's gone out.
We'll
McRae's
revert
gone in.
back.
Yeah, we'll revert back to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, regardless of the break even, there's no way I'm bringing McRae in this week with all this uncertainty. I want to wait and see how it pans out. And if the CBAs are still up with Libba back in the side, then yes, I'll definitely consider him the following week. And I'll say the exact same thing about Dawson once we see what it looks like when Crouch comes in. So I think it's a simple answer, Janath, for me. Just wait a week and see what happens when Libba's back.
That's fine. I would say, again, same with me. See how it goes with Libba back. Really, even with Libba out, the CBAs remain quite consistent. So for the year now, McRae's gone 48%, 13%, 29%, 34% in his 4 games. So you would have thought, okay, Libba out, Sanders sub, McRae's probably going to go into the 50s at least, right? And he's stuck at
They weren't that high. Yeah.
They weren't that high. It's the real beneficiary this year of the tight Bulldogs midfield isn't Bont, isn't Libba, it's Adam Treloar. He's the one that's
he's the one, yeah. Everyone's sleeping on him.
CBAs and everything. It's just that injury risk. If he was 4 years younger and didn't have any injury risk, he'd be a really good pick in that midfield. But yeah, I reckon we give McRae one more week. So that's our verdict there, at least, and then reassess next week. Bailey Dale, just starting off for me, I think it's too risky. We got enough good defensive premiums there, like top level premiums. You know what? I'll give it to Bevo because it seems to have worked. That putting the players the sub sort of gives them that reality check that okay, you're not concrete in our best 22, and it's worked with Bailey Dale, and it's also worked, you could say, with Jack McRae. Is the simplest pass for now and really until we really, well, I mean, is it as simple as pass, boys?
Oh, I don't know if it's as simple as pass. I think you've got to have a decent look, and this may be getting really ahead of ourselves, but couldn't it be just the perfect luxury D7 pick? We are probably getting ahead of ourselves, I think, if we're talking luxury picks. But again, with Dale, he hasn't had a terrible season. 87, 103, 93, and then that 47, which probably that poor game led to him starting as a sub the next week, only a 12, and then bang, a 175. The kick-ins, 4, 3, 4, 3, none the sub, and then 4. That's really stayed consistent. But the disposal count, 23, 23, 25, again, really consistent for that 87, 103, 93, then 16, 3, and 39 last week. So the big thing, I think, with Dale is the fact that Richards was pushed into the midfield and he just had that all to himself. And who did he play? Who did Dale play last week?
Oh, the Saints.
The easiest team ever.
So if you ever want a big score from a defender, play the Saints. So there's just so much that went right for him.
There's one you want to wait on. It just come out of nowhere. It's a sort of score where, where's that been all year?
First 3 though, they're not too bad. Like
they're not bad, but yeah, it's such a risk. I think.
Yeah, I think
you're
just not paying up that much for a D7 right now in the season, TR.
Yeah, you're right, mate.
There's other things I want to do right now that don't revolve bringing Dale in. I mean, if it's not Merritt, it's Welsh. If it's not Welsh, like it's Dawson. I mean, there are other players. Houston's got St Kilda. I mean, there's at least 5 players I'm going to trade in this week before Dale.
A few good.
And Dale won't get DPP, so it's like, okay, he's probably going to be the lowest he'll be for a couple of weeks now. But at the same time, is he just another bad game away from being sub again?
Who knows? Who knows with the man we've got on the screen?
That's
all right. Let's pass on Dale then, boys. Let's pass on him.
Safer options. But really, if you could get to Dale with one trade and you've already got Garcia, for instance, and you don't want to bring in another rookie, it's not the worst idea. It really isn't.
That's it.
If you can go Sanders to Dale and you've got the money and you don't have any rookies to bring in and you have to do it to get rid of Sanders, you could do it. You can do it, and that's each their own in that way. The last of the Bevos bunch we're going to talk about is Tim English. Now, I made the possibly dumb move of passing over Tim English in a couple of weeks by bringing in Rowan Marshall last week, but he really is Rolls Royce. He is a Rolls Royce. He gets forward and kicks goals now as well. You boys, next week, is that what the plan is? Both of you to bring in Tim English for either Brodie Grundy type or someone else in your team?
Dogger. I'll tell you what, Janath, this week would have almost been perfect for me. I banked a lot of money from this, from like Plan for Merit, obviously. If I boosted, this is absurd. It's probably a good thing I can't do it. It'd be my last boost, but wouldn't it be perfect? I'm 1.6k too short to get Jackson up to English in one trade this week on top of the Merit. So I'm gonna have to wait another week. But I think I've got a boost for him. It's just how it is. Otherwise, I can't upgrade.
Yeah.
So that's just the situation. I signed up for that with Dogger. We got these good scores, but for me, Tim English is clear cut R2. Unfortunately for yourself, Janath, I just see a lot more consistency and that impact he's got going forward. And we talk about the Marvel run that Rowan's had, but look at the score he had against Essendon, and then look at the score he's had against the Western Bulldogs at Marvel.
That's it.
I'm a bit I'm not sold on the Marvel run unless it's like last year's Jack Sinclair. I mean, I don't know what. So I think Tim English is obviously our R2, and he's got a 160 break even. I want to say, boys, it's still very, very high. So yeah, Dogger's going to lose money this week, but I think English is going to lose more. So I'm hoping that next week's just perfectly, sitting perfect there for me, just to grab Tim English and then just set that R2 up for the rest of the year. And then, Gawn and English, I think they're clear R1, R2. So I don't want to say he's a must-have because Rowan's a good pick, but he looks good. And, he's going to be as cheap as I think we'll ever see him in this day and age.
I'm planning for him too. Yeah. I'm planning for him for sure. Like, he hasn't really had failure apart from that 58, 119, 138, 124, 117, 114. And people are acting like he's fallen off the face of the earth. Like, he's really not. If he scores a 110, he loses around 30K this week. So I reckon it's the ultimate time to pounce. If you don't, you can wait another week on Rowan. But I've planned for this. And the only issue is for some people, as we quickly mentioned before, is that with not too many downgrade options, if you've gone early on your Garcia already, this is the Hugo version, it could be tough to actually get him in. So, that's probably our thoughts on Timmy English. I think we're both pretty keen, brother.
I would totally be with you guys. But it's just the way the team structure happened to be that Tom Green looked like a really good pick in the same week that Tim English did, and you just can't pull off both moves in the same round. So you had to go someone last week, and it's
you
just
have a crystal ball, mate. You can't see the future. Like,
you
can't. Looks really good.
That's the thing.
Like, you that gameplay Norwood. I mean, unbelievable.
That's it. Yeah. But we move on. We'll see. Hopefully Rowan can bounce back this week because I know a fair few pulled the move, including SDS Supercoach. Shout out to you, brother, as well. Just a very quick one. I'm a big no against this, but I've seen around on Twitter chats about cashing in on Sheasel and Isaac Heaney. Heaney, 660K. Sheasel,
big no.
644K.
Big no.
Big no-nos across the board.
100%. There's no way. Keep him.
No way.
Tick of approval.
Two of my favourite players to own. Like, two of the best players in my team. No. What? No.
And do what with it exactly?
Is it accurate to say, though, that we would all prefer Sheasel to remain in that halfback role? Because I think that's 100%. Where we know he's going to score really well. We know he can score well. We just don't know. It's unknown goods if he moves into the midfield.
Well, I've heard anyway that there's a possibility he starts in those CBAs and actually drifts back into that halfback role. Wouldn't that be ideal? So
that's pig.
If that's the case, imagine if that happened. People are trading him out. Like, no, there's no way I'd be trading out the Shees until I see with the average it is given us so far. If we see the role and we see a really low score, then we question it. But until it actually happens, no chance. It's guesswork at the moment. Like, not a chance. No.
Cool. That's good. Yep. That's good. And then finally, before we get into the mailbag, boys, let's try dip a hand in trying to figure out the top 6 forwards. So I'll start off with the two obvious ones. So that's Heaney and Flanders. I think we're all pretty settled on them being F1 and F2. Am I right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would absolutely agree on that, mate.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Then let's go to F3. F3 to 6. So maybe DR, if you want to throw out a name, and then we'll say if we agree or disagree. And then Spills, you can do the same, mate. We'll just go around like that. And we'll try settle on a top 6 in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really controversial because I think this bloke could go down, but I tell you what, accounting for him not going down, I think it's our ex-captain Dane Zorko at this moment.
I agree.
I think it is. I think with that
100% agree
halfback
with
role.
you, DR.
Yep.
Yeah,
Agree with
I hate
that.
to say it.
The only thing is with Zorko is, he's top. I think he's top 3, but he's probably not one I want in my team until round 20. Well, yeah, we obviously
Top-
he'd be like
round
last.
20, yeah.
Minimum.
Probably a
after
bit
the
sooner, boys. Like, he'd be my last upgrade, essentially. Like, get this man in, finish your forward line, and then the risk is low of him actually going down. So
it's almost that way, Spills, where I think I may genuinely have a full team except for 4 forwards by the end of all this. Like, that's like those last 4 forwards. Well, you boys both own Dogger, but like Dogger's it could just be a top 6 forward by season's end.
Yeah.
But let's not get sidetracked because I think Sorko F3, I'm happy with it. Spills, do you have anyone else you would say is the F3? Your F3?
last week I would have said Charlie Comben, but now I'm having second thoughts. So yeah, I'm going to say Zorko, boys.
Okay. And then Spills, throw out an F4 candidate for us.
Well, at the moment it's Dogger, but yeah, that one's that ship's sinking, isn't it? I think it's going to be a key forward. It has to be. It's going to be Mackay, Curnow, or Hogan. One of those 3. And I think it'd be very, very sort of close, but obviously that's going to be based off total points and I guess sort of average. But yeah, I don't like key forwards, so I don't really have any, unless one of them has a really easy last 4 weeks where you can sort of back them in and see how they go. But this is where it starts to get really dire.
Yeah, really
I know
dicey.
Fife hasn't been the pick you guys probably would have wanted him to be, but I mean, he's knocking on the door. I don't have him, but you could do so much worse. Could you keep Harley Reid at F6? What? Yeah. Could you?
Don't jump the gun, Stills. Don't jump the gun, mate.
No.
I'll throw out.
I'll tell you what, he's looking good. I mean, you could do so much worse than that. There's nothing, boys.
Who would you say is F4?
At this stage, I'd probably have Bolton. The way that he's going, I know that he's a real roller coaster type pick and has a really low floor at times when things just don't go good. But I think with those ceiling games in him, things will probably balance out. So I'd probably have Bolton there at number 4 after Zorko, mate. Again, I can't believe this is the sort of bunch that we're talking about, but it is what it is.
I'll finish with what I think it may look like. So I think, like you're saying, Spills, those key forwards, your Kerno, Mackay, Hogans, they're going to finish in that top 10. Top 6, not quite sure. I think the 2 bolters that are sort of increased in centre bounces after your Zorko and your Bolton is Jai Caldwell and Isaac Rankin. So Rankin, I think, was in the gutter at 3/4 time, 20-odd or 30-odd points at 3/4 time, and he came on really strong in the 4th quarter, end on 85. And then Caldwell for your Mobs Bills. Centre bounce have increased over the last 3 weeks. Yes, Perkins has missed, Setterfield has missed, but 46%, 61%, 64% the last 3 weeks. It's that role that's bothering me. But Durham and Caldwell in that midfield, along with Merritt or Parrish, those
Beast
4
mode.
together look dynamite together. It is really,
Durham's
really
been unreal. I mean, I work with a mate
unreal.
who's got Durham in his team, and yeah, what a pod. I mean, far out. There's no way. So,
but yeah, so I guess with those 6 that we just said there, Spills, with your key forwards added in there, Dia, Heaney, Flanders, Zorko, Bolton, Caldwell, Rankin, and then possibly Taylor Adams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
Adams.
just going to say, I'll throw
Even
Adams.
Dogger's still, I think Dogger's still
Yeah.
top 6, but just going through a bit of a lull, I want to say.
Yeah, that could be absolutely fair enough, along with those key forwards, I think. But we're all missing the GOAT, boys. Come on. The key forward from West Coast, Mr. Jake Waterman. Come on down. He should be the biggest fucking Supercoach, I reckon. Someone, I got a DM. Someone sent me, I won't mention it. Like, someone goes, obviously jumping on Waterman. I said, nah, mate, massive trap. After his good game again the weekend, what the expletives in there? Like, you've given me the wrong advice here. So good luck to that kind gentleman that selected.
Do you remember last year?
Mr. Waterman.
Do you remember last year? Yeah. I was at Ross and I were at Gathering, and it was West Coast and Geelong, and Jake Waterman kicked 5, and the bloke behind us had Jake Waterman in his Supercoach team. He was one of 210 coaches that had Jake Waterman in his Supercoach team. Like, genuinely, being dead set here. And we were just chatting, Ross and I were chatting this week, so maybe Jake Waterman is a legitimate option as well. So your old mate that you've got, DI, isn't the only one.
Yeah, and the bloke, shout out to you, Jakey, if you're listening, mate. I work with a wonderful man at school. He was desperate because he had a one-on-one matchup, and it got to the last couple of games, and he just needed a pod to try to get over the line in the draft league.
Way.
Picked up Waterman the week that he got that big score. Not like last week. The week he got the big score and it got him over the line. I said to him, that's the most coated move I've ever seen. Why Waterman? He said, because there was no one else, basically. So well done, Jakey boy.
I guess we'll just end this chat by saying, if Harley Reid doesn't get managed as well throughout the season, he would probably go straight up to F4.
I think it's more structure. This one here, Janath. I'm probably looking at holding like Dempsey and Harley Reid all the way till like the death. Yeah. I mean, right at the end until we're doing our last, and there might be someone else in the forward line that comes out of nowhere. I mean, but that is my last priority. Keep Reid there just indefinitely almost until we can just luxury him to someone that's a clear-cut primo.
100% agree, mate. I think we got there, but I just want to show that was sort of just a challenge for us because we've got no idea. After those top 2, it is genuinely throwing darts at a board blindfolded. It does give a lot of justification to hold off on making those forward upgrades right now because I think the forward rookies are performing at a level that's within touch and distance off those primos in that line.
Agreed, mate.
Let's get on with the mailbag.
Well, let's do it again. Thank you to everyone that did send a question in. Now, one thing we are concerned with this week is obviously the very short turnaround time. And I think we've already gone for about 50 minutes, if you don't mind, boys. That section was meant to be half an hour. That's what we planned for. But again, no surprise to anyone that is watching or listening. We have butchered that. So we should blame Janath. We thought with Janath back this week hosting.
Supposed to steer the ship, Janath.
You said you were going to. Janath will steer the ship. Little drive. No, it's I was the timekeeper, actually. It's on me, so I do apologize, boys. But what we're going to do this week is really focus, and I think I'll put a heart on a couple of questions that are a bit more general, that will be more helpful for the whole community. When it comes to the really team-specific ones, I will, and if Janath's got time, Spill's got time, I certainly will, and I promise, I will definitely get to all the really team-specific ones, but we are really, and I'm taking lots of time saying this, but we are, very aware of the fact that people probably won't listen to an overly long podcast this week because you've only really got the Wednesday. So, apologies if we don't get to yours now. We certainly won't get to all of them. We'll try to get to some of the more general ones, and much love to anyone that has sent one out. The first one we got here is from our brother. We need to get this man on, a absolute brother of the podcast. Kata, shout out to you, legend. We already saw some tweets from Kata with the news section there. With uncertainty with the forward line in Supercoach, so many premiums shitting the bed at times. Do you think Matt Roberts and Harley Reid with DPP covering the defensive and mid and forward lines are worth keeping as potential?
I just said this.
Let's see how it all plays out.
Said this like 2 minutes ago, boys. Harley Reid F6 done. Why not?
Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
If you can get him at D set, if you can get him at M9, F7 to finish the season, woof, because he's got the ceiling. He's the perfect M9, the perfect F7, because you want players with ceiling at those emergency spots to sort of loop them on if they have an early game.
Yep, 100%. And the thing
I'd upgrade Roberts before Reid, though, because there are some really good defenders there. So they'd be like the 2 last men standing in your team, and say Roberts is like 450 or 500. And if you can get him up to, I don't know, Houston or Ryan or whoever you don't have, all for that and complete your defense.
Yeah. DR, you're not rushing to trade out Roberts at this stage, though, given his form.
No
way.
No way. The only thing I was going to say is we're talking about Dale's at potential, D7 before. The difference is no DPP. Both of these blokes have DPP. Depends if you want a mid forward or a defensive back. So, I absolutely think, Katta, that they could be, mate. And wouldn't that be a luxury? Yep. Cheers, legend. Our next one is from our man, Verns. Shout out to you, brother Verns from the SC Hub. Make sure you check out Verns' channel as well. All right, fellas, not many people in this situation, but as a non-Dacos owner, who's better trading this week, Dawson or Dacos? Keep up the awesome work. Hope Nash is doing all right. Yeah, thank you very much, brother. I am really easy and big on this one. It's Dacos. You've got a proven commodity that is a must-have in a defensive line. Yeah, easy for me. Dacos by the length.
You've done well, like anti-podding him through this tough time for Dacos owners. It hasn't been the best. So off the back of, I mean, he looked like absolute shit at halftime, and then he's pulled out of 133. So Vern, you got to get him.
Basically, Vern, you made a 73K profit. You get him
done
in.
Well, done really well.
Done really well. I think we're sorry to the viewers that didn't have Dacos so far, because we haven't mentioned him in any of our podcasts, because everyone sort of had him in. No one asked us questions about Dacos because clearly they had him. Obviously, right? But now is the time. If you don't have Dacos, I reckon he's the number one priority this week. He's going to be the D1 from this stage on, I'd say.
If you don't have him, make at least 2 trades this week. Dacos and Hugo Garcia. You'll be loving life, I reckon, with those 2 trades. Beautiful. Cheers, Verns. Very quickly, Causa, we'll talk to the members chat, buddy, about this team-specific one, but I want to give a shout-out to Causa. Actually, and how's this? Causa's not... He's just said, congratulate me. So we're like a bit of an order here. From the ladies, man, can put in an order here. Longest serving man.
Gun in my head. Congratulations.
Hey, legends, congratulate me on my 10 on the weekend. Mick from Insight told me I was 1 in 8 in the whole of Supercoach to do it. So, Causa,
well done, mate.
Your congratulations, mate. Well done, Cause. We didn't have any choice, really, at the end of the day, did we there, Cause? But in all seriousness, mate, that is awesome. It was a big call from you. Made it all week, mate. So, congrats, Cause. We'll get to that.
And good work very quickly, Cause, for backing your gut. I think that's the main thing, the main lesson out of this, mate, is see how well it paid off there, backing your gut. Every single week from here on, mate. Good work.
Absolutely. And when we get to our VC captain options, may also see him there again, mate, particularly his opposition this week. Our next one is Shah. G'day, Shah. How's things, legend? Is worth going McRae this week? I think we've talked about this. May not rise, but if I can't fit him next 3-4 rounds, we have a lot of falling PREMOS, track, Clary, etc. Look, I wouldn't be prioritising McRae. This is just personal, mate. We talked about him before, boys. Pretty much answered. Janath, anything that you want to add before we ask Spilsy?
Yeah, it's almost worth sort of building up a double upgrade next week. Just make a single trade, downgrade down. If you really want to get these fallen prems, just try to build up cash to get 2 of them in next week, rather than force one in this week for the sake of doing so.
Like it. Spilsy, anything to add there, brother?
Yeah, I like Track the most here. Probably going to hit his break even, but still going to have a very high break even the next week. I think we can get him for 580k. So he's a must have for me.
Yep.
Clary, put a line through him. Yeah, Dawson, English we discussed, and Green, Merritt, and Sarong. Just see how you go. Merritt's going to be impossible to get unless you get him in this week. Like for this run, I'll explain that later on. But if you don't get Merritt this week, you're probably never getting him because you don't want him. You want him to get him in for the fixture he has, but that's another discussion. Mate. Don't mind it, but
beautiful. All right. Next one is from CR7, regular every week. How are you, legends? I know Fallen Primos are trending, especially this week, but have we forgotten about Clary? Just had surgery on that worrisome finger. I've got a feeling he'll average more than Dawson from here for the rest of the season. For me, mate, I certainly haven't forgot about him. On the stocky each week, I've got the binoculars there, but it's been a consistent binoculars with the target because we just need to see good form, mate. There's no point just getting him in now and hoping that things turn around. I need to see it first, and then I'm happy to pay up a little bit more than his lowest price point. I need to see form first. Does Do any of you boys disagree on that take?
I probably will with you, DR. I just put a line through him literally a minute ago. But with all the precious spots in the midfield this year, I think a 115 is almost not going to cut it at M8 this year. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the numbers we're seeing. Do you really want Clary there? I mean, I know that it could be value, but fake Primo vibes all over him. There's no way. Maybe Dawson, as we want to get another look at him because it's just a bit of luck in terms of his disposal efficiency, which he's been known for. But Clayton, you don't get a full preseason, you don't get the full output. So I'm putting
Fair
a line
enough,
through him until we see it on a consistent basis.
Yeah, just one thing to add with that as well is I think Clary's good and all, but there's just something that I'm a bit worried about is the round 14 bye. And so I know a lot of Walsh traders that plan bring him in like myself, Carlton, Essendon, Gold Coast, Melbourne. How many good mids do we have from those 4 teams? Walshy, Merritt, Took, Flanders, Rowell, Anderson.
It'll be a hard week.
Clary. It's going to be a hard week if you're bringing in your Clary types.
That's a good point,
with
bro. Yeah.
downgrade,
pods
and premium, and then you got the Suns mids. I know a lot of people have at least one Suns mid, whether that's a Flanders who's in your forwards, so you've got a little bit more coverage, but you've got those pure mids, those big 3 pure mids. Walsh is a pure mid, Merritt, Parrish. It may be a bit tough to be able to fit all of these guys in, and we sort of just do we prioritize value to the extent that maybe we just don't go for Clary this year? And
I agree.
We'll see. If this is tomorrow's game is really big for him, I reckon, because we'll see if he has that sort of ceiling in him to say, okay, I'm a viable pick this season.
But if he doesn't, we can rule him out all year, and then next year with a full preseason, he could be one of the all-time Supercoach.
He's going to be underpriced as well, for sure.
Yep. Great call, Spills. Great call, mate. All right, another one, CR7. I know you're contemplating this to DR, as you said in the round review, but I've currently got a dilemma between bringing in Sarong or Houston. Okay, leaning towards Sarong, but Houston has a juicy matchup this week. Look, what I'll say is, mate, for me, either way, you're getting a fantastic selection. What are you prioritizing? Like, how many mids have you got? How many defenders have you got? What type of rookies have you currently got on field too? So I think it's very dependent on which line you want to favor. If you go on this week in particular, I'm going to say Dan Houston, just with his matchup that he's got.
Yeah.
But if you're looking long term, I think with the difference between price, which isn't a heap between Houston and your Sarong, I think that Sarong is certainly value at what 20 odd K more, whatever he is. So I'd go Sarong long term on it, mate. But Houston is going to be hot this week, and if you don't go him, you're going to be spewing, I reckon, just for the week, because he should smash St Kilda, I reckon.
I agree.
Sarong's one of the best buys this week, I reckon. At his price, 613. That's a really good buy-in for Sarong.
All right, very quickly, throw a random one out there because I've had a couple of PMs about this one. Dawson versus Sarong. What are you doing, boys? You taking the absolute guarantee with Sarong, or are you saying to yourself, do you know what? We've already talked about the lack of downgrades coming up. That extra coin, if you go Dawson this week, could be the difference between getting English and maybe missing out on English the week after. So I know it's team dependent, but just
you pay for what you get. With Sarong, you're paying for a guaranteed top 8, where Dawson, there is.
So that's you're going merit, aren't you, mate? Anyway, so we'll get to that later. We won't go to that now, but all right. We'll talk about that in a little while as well. But either way, mate.
I guess the other thing, DR, very quickly is it's not like Dawson has this overly friendly fixture run or anything. You got North this week. Yeah, should towel them up really. West Coast only once more. Hawthorn you got twice, but again, it's like Hawthorn isn't the easiest fixture. It's not. You got Sydney twice. That's a fixture I wouldn't want because. We saw James Jordan tag Anderson. I see Anderson and Dawson in a very similar mold in terms of inside, outside players. So again, I'm not so certain. Sorry, I don't want to dishearten you on the Dawson pick, mate, but I just think Sarong, you just pay up for him. You just go Sarong. Dawson is a fine pick, Dia. I'm telling you, Dia, he is a good pick. But I don't think that you go him over Sarong or any of those uber mids. That's all.
Do you know what? I shouldn't have asked the question because I just didn't want to hear that. Like, no. You're not. Oh, damn it. All right. We'll get to trades later on. But thanks for that, brother. We'll move on. Now, rookie coach AFL. Now, this is a pretty easy one, actually, for me. Massimo and Sharp out. In Walsh or Garcia or Butters or Garcia. I'm going Butters because I'm a lot more confident on his body. Like, this is personal for me. I'm just off Walsh because of that back issue. If you took the injuries out, I'd go Walsh for value because he's the best value mid by far this week in the premiums, but I'm going Butters, mate. Janath, you're a Carlton man. Walsh or Butters, mate?
In this case, I go Butters. Again, that buy is really good. The buy is one of the big reasons why I go Butters in this case over Walsh. I'm looking at bringing Walsh in this week, not as much as I really want to, but I think it's the best of the trade scenarios I can make with bringing in only one rookie, and I think Hugo Garcia, I think rookie coach AFL, this is pretty good trading, mate.
Sweet. Spilsy?
That midfield, though, jeez.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that. I want to see what the rest of this team looks like because
hopefully it's not like the Simpsons meme where you got the whole body up there and he's got all the wrinkles at the back.
Oh, no way. Well, Spilsy, we'll have to get a comment on that one. So comment the rest of your team, mate. That'd be awesome. Thanks, mate. Jacob, going to bring in Stewart. Do I bring in Dawson instead or double downgrade? Now, I would probably, if it's Dawson or double downgrade, I'm going Dawson because I just don't like the downgrades. I like Garcia and that's it. So I'm bringing in Dawson, not double downgrading. Spills, I know you're not the biggest fan of Dawson now, but if it's either Dawson or the double downgrade, what are you choosing, brother?
You've got to go Dawson 100% because what is there to really double downgrade to other than, Biggie, and even that's a bit of uncertainty. So, I think you do a hell of a lot worse than Dawson. I like him, but just not,
the other
not
thing
in my plans.
You wouldn't bring in Stewart next week anyway because he's going to miss this week, and then he's going to have 2 further price falls to around 500k.
Good.
We're going to get him for like 490k.
Yeah, you wait another 2 weeks. Of what? You wait until round 10. We bring in Stewart's around 10 trading at 500k. That's like best buy. That's going to be your best buy that week. Just lock it in.
Lock him in. And that's why, if you're even looking to get someone like Houston this week, you've already got 5 defenders. I would highly encourage anyone that is still looking for a defender, plan for Tom Stewart.
That's a good one, though, DR. Very quickly, Houston, like, is there a difference between Houston? Is that difference 100k worth?
Not 100k. Like, if you're asking me to rank Houston or Stewart, I've got Houston higher, and I've always been like that preseason anyway. I was starting Houston over.
That's why I started him.
Man, that hurts. But no, I've got Houston over Stewart. But if you're asking me if it's 100k worth, I don't think it's 100k worth. No. Yeah. Personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Alrighty. On to the next one. Thanks for that, Jacob. Lewis Grigg, trade suggestions, most likely losing the boost. Louis, we'll get back to you on that one, mate. Very team dependent there. We will get back to you. Thank you, brother. Logan Jennings, bit of uncertainty with trades. Short on McRae, safe on Clary. So we're saying probably no on McRae, probably no on Clary. Could go Dawson, then lock into McRae next week. Yes, mate. We've discussed that one, I think, at pretty great length. Yeah. Dawson over McRae. And if you want, if he looks good, McRae, lock him in next week. Absolutely fine for us, mate. Thanks, buddy. Luca needs to double downgrade this week. Oh, don't like it. McAuliffe being dropped bigger this week with Garcia. Boys, I'm a no on. Oh, actually, we've already said don't double downgrade, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we're not fans of this, mate. Yeah, we're not fans of that one. Wouldn't do it personally.
If it gets you a Merritt, Sarong, Rowell type this week for, let's say, Sanders, another rookie, and Zach Williams, would you get Big in?
All right, it's very hard to answer. What
next
I'll say
week's not going to be any better, is it, mate? Like, if you're going to use a boost one of these 2 weeks, which week would you use it in?
Well, the trouble is, mate, I think this is team dependent because you got to remember, for me personally, I've already got Sexton, Hoare, Reed, I've already got if you got Jordan Clark, even he could potentially be a dead rookie very, very soon. So I just can't take the chance of getting another dead rookie in that's going to be dead in. When I say dead, like in the short term anyway, he may get a week or two. Dawson comes in, he's got to wait for an injury. I'm just not willing to do that. But if you haven't got the type of picks that I've got, you've corrected those dead rookies early and done a bit of a different strategy to lots of people, then I think you could afford to do it. That's what I would say, mate. But if you're running with the rookies that I am, those dead ones, not for me. Just too risky. Too risky.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Alrighty. Next one is from the Angry Chihuahua. How are you, buddy? Hey, legends, in a bit of a pickle, your help would be appreciated. Looking to bring in Walsh, Houston, and Garcia, but struggling with who to boot. Okay, we've got D'Ambrosio, Williams, Sharp, Windsor, and Powell. So we need 3 of those out. I'm saying out.
Hey, Powell.
Windsor, Sharp, and Williams.
Done.
Janath,
Agreed.
Any difference? Bills and I are going Williams, Sharp, and Windsor.
Yep. No, that's cool.
Beautiful. Easy. That was a quick one. Thanks, my angry man. Good on you, mate. Luke Dawson, Sarong and Dawson. So, look, I am different to Spills and... I'm different to Spills and Janath here, mate. So, I'm saying Dawson because I want value. I want more coin, because there's less downgrades, but I think that Jonathan Spills are more confident on your Sarong, because you're getting a guaranteed play. You really know what you're getting. With Dawson, probably too many question marks. But
there is a second part there, DR, and I think that's really important.
Sarong, I missed that. Sarong helps my buys and is a lock to be top 8. Oh, you're pretty much saying the advice we just gave you. But Dawson, extra K cheaper. English, but isn't the safest of picks. Oh, look, mate. I'm different to Jonathan Spills here. Sarong helps you buys. There's lots of positive to Sarong, probably more question marks. And when you are getting a fallen premium and you're looking for value, generally with value, more risk is associated. So it depends which way you want to go there, mate. But yeah, probably Sarong would be the safer move there, brother.
In this case, I'd go Dawson. I'd go Dawson in this case because it allows you to get English next week.
Oh, okay then. Okay.
It's team specific. So if it's just Sarong versus Dawson face value, definitely Sarong. But if it's the same thing you were saying, DR. You want to save that 80K, but what do you use it for? If you're using it to get in Lafau over Biggie Newen, then no, don't do that.
No.
But if it's the 80K that you use to get in English next week, then yes, 100%. That's a really good trade. That's good trade, and that's smart.
I'll probably lean. English is really important. I think this is more an English in, rather than Dawson. And if Dawson could come good as a top 8, we'll see. But if it gets English, I don't mind it.
Good pick up with the second part of the question there, mate, because I absolutely missed this.
On the ball,
very quickly, Frogger, William Sharp, Lazaro, Dawson, Garcia, McRae. Look, I think that if you believe that they could both be good picks, Dawson and McRae, this could be an absolute king move, mate. But at the same time, you could be sitting there in 3 weeks going, why on earth did I do that? Why didn't I play it safer?
It's low risk.
I don't hate it. Actually, I don't hate this move.
You reckon it's low risk?
There's no primo going out. You're getting 2
and we just spoke about the lack of options below F3, F4. I mean, McRae's not. He could be up there if he's not if he's playing full games. I mean,
Sharp,
fair enough, man.
Jeremy Sharp's gone above 72 once in 6 games, and that was the 126. He hasn't gone above 72's break even.
High break even, but
high break even. Yeah, that's it. I reckon he's maxed out. So no, it's not the worst trade. Would you change your opinion, DR? Do you still stand on that?
Oh, look, how many boosts has he got? Like, if this is Frogger's, if it's his last boost, absolutely not. Look, do you know what? If you're confident enough in I think it's a good use of a boost if you're confident on the picks. That's what I'll say.
2 premiums for 3 rookies.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point.
You can argue the case that
I wouldn't say they're premiums. They're probably
you could argue the case. I mean, McRae could be in the bleak forward line, and Dawson was 650K at the start of the year.
PPs, potential primos. Now, Maxi, maybe give us your next scenario here, mate, because this involves McAuliffe here, who, when you sent this through, mate, we wouldn't have known about that news. So, we'll get through to you, mate. Really, then, McAuliffe this week. Don't like Biggie. Thoughts on Naismith?
Oh, no.
No, we talked about that, mate. That was random because I just put that random thought out myself. But, disagreed on that one, mate. Too risky, unfortunately, brother. Wouldn't be going there, Brain. Next one is A-Dogs Unknown. G'day, mate. Can you
Jeez.
use my 4th boost to trade Sam Darcy to Sarong?
Wow.
Yes, I'll say that. Sam Darcy to
Yeah.
Sarong. Are you going there, boys?
Yeah, if you can get
Yep.
done. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sam Darcy. Oh, that's so as a non-Jackson owner, I was waiting for Sam Darcy to get ruck DPP.
Yes.
And wouldn't you know it,
Yep.
that's the week Hugo Hagen it's almost better if Sam Darcy didn't play last week. Just get that ruck DPP, chill out,
Absolutely.
and just
Didn't need his
it's
score
brutal.
either. Yeah,
Brutal.
absolutely, mate. All right, next one is from Kuren. Hey, lads, love the potty. Thanks, buddy. Trading sideways Stewart to Dacos and bringing Stewart back in 3 weeks.
Oh no.
I'm no on that. I think it's you probably keep that trade for something else for another short-term move because you want Stewart back in. You're going out in not too long. Spills, you against that with me, or you giving that the all clear, mate?
Oh, I'm
We'll go
not
pretty quick because
100%.
we
I'm
are
pretty.
getting
I'm
later,
pretty
boys.
radical.
I'm,
I'm pretty radical. I
jeez.
wouldn't. I don't hate it, but I wouldn't do
Alright.
it. Like,
No,
it's
fair
too
enough.
risky. But
Different
I like
to
the
it,
concept of it
It's
because
All right,
Dacos.
Janice, you're going to decide
Dacos
this
is.
then.
I mean, what do you mean?
I'm
not
the
owning him?
exact same. I hate it. I hate the move, but at the same time, that
I
little
don't- I
devil
don't,
says
though.
Dacos.
devil
This could be the
comes up.
cheapest Dacos gets all season.
If you
And
can
so-
do it somehow, like if you
Okay,
can get Dacos in another way, if you still got
Yeah.
like a Sanders, I mean, I'd prioritize that. But
Surely your team has bigger issues than a 1 week Tom Stewart concussion.
I
Like if
agree.
if Stewart to Dacos feels very luxury at this stage of the season for
does.
me, it's not like it's the last week of the season. You just need a dart throw, Stewart's concussed sort of thing. Like if you can do this move, Kieran, your team must be in an unbelievable position, I reckon.
Yeah, love it. And last one, guys, we will finish off with, and again, apologies if we didn't answer your specific one. We'll get to it, but this one's pretty easy for me, guys. Do I boost and get Houston and 2 rookies, or go value Primo and rookie, or double down this week? We say don't double down. Houston and 2 rookies. I don't think there's 2 rookies you can go for. So for me, that's left with go value
Not
Primo.
with confidence anyway.
Garcia. So I'm going value premium and Garcia. Are you boys any different for the last question for this week, fellas?
No, I couldn't agree with you anymore. I mean, we've discussed it pretty well.
Question just quickly on the value Primo. Walsh versus Dawson.
I'm going Dawson because I just don't trust Walsh's back.
Yeah.
That's just me.
They both present so much value. I think Dawson, because it's sort of unheard of. I mean, he's bloody cheap.
We could look like idiots as well, Spills, couldn't we? But it's just that back. Like it's like
Welsh is looking so good at that price. I mean, if I didn't have Zach Merritt, I'd take the gamble, I think.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful boys.
I think I'm leaning towards Walsh at the moment, but could be easily convinced otherwise. One thing, just very quickly on Walsh, is the next 6 games that we have before our bye, and so Essendon is there. We'll add Essendon in as well. Geelong, Collingwood, Melbourne, Sydney, Gold Coast, Port Adelaide, Essendon. The only game away, the 2 games away outside of Melbourne is Sydney and Port Adelaide and Adelaide. It's a tough fixture leading up to our bye, so it's a stretch fixture for Carlton.
That's good for Welsh though, Janath, because look what he did in the finals last year against good teams.
He does step up, and that's why I'm saying it's one of those things where he may get a little bit of attention, but I mean he's a Rolls Royce, mate. He'll be great. And I don't know the exact stats on me, but it almost felt like last year Jordan Dawson, DR, you might remember this as well. He almost performed better in harder games, like games whereas Rory Laird was the soft track bully or the downhill skier.
Yeah, that's true, mate. That's true. It's funny how different players score, isn't it? Some prefer to really, like Jordan De Goey's one bloke that really tends to step up in the really big games, and then we see him against early oppositions like he doesn't really care as much, doesn't just get up for it. So, good chat though, boys, and thanks again for anyone that did leave a question. We're going to zip through this, fellas, because we are certainly running out of time. But Janath, very quickly, mate, take us through the Captain's Corner, brought to you as well by the third man up, our man Janath, as well as our other brother, Roscoe. We'll have to get Roscoe on to the potty soon as well, boys. But Janath, take us through this very, very quickly, mate. We'll do a bit of a turbo captain's run this week, mate.
We'll do a turbo captain's run, and I think we'll just kick it off the bat by saying I think there's even with Sam Naismith coming in to play alongside Toby
I know what I'm doing.
Max Gawn is the best VC option this week. 148 last 3 games, 132 in his last 3 against Richmond, 138 average at the MCG. I think he's one. And then if for those that don't own Gawn, Zach Merritt and Dan Houston. Dan Houston, let's not think about his average against the opposition in the last 3 games. We saw with Causa and how he performed. He's got the form. He's got the runs on the board now. And he plays the easiest defense to score against for a running defender at home at Adelaide Oval. Friday night lights. I think we're in for a big one from Dan Houston. And then I think if you're looking for captaincy option, you either go for the Bulldogs Fremantle game, where the Bont at Optus Stadium looks like a really, really good captaincy option.
Remember last year?
182. That's it. I think we all got in. We all got on him as our VC at that time.
I missed that one. I didn't get in that one.
Oh, Spillsy. No.
Viewing.
Not as bad as your Tukey move.
I got Tuke Miller instead for that 40, mate.
No.
No, I don't think I did. I can't remember. I think I did actually because I was point chasing.
Let's not go.
Because I missed out on one. Might have been that week.
Sorry, man. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry. But yeah, 145 average at Optus. And then I think anyone that has as so-called abs as weapon, Matt Rao, 1/3 in his last 3. He loves West Coast. I think if you guys remember in his breakout game was against West Coast, and then he just towels up West Coast every single time. So 141 last 3, and then he averages 142 at Heritage Bank Stadium, or I don't even know what the stadium's called anymore, but PFS, People's First Stadium.
People's First.
Very odd. Yeah, People's First Stadium. So yeah, I think you go Gawn, Merritt, Houston as my top 3 VC picks. And then captaincy picks is Bont, Rao, Sarong. So this week I'll be going Max Gawn into Marcus Bontempelli. What about you boys?
I'm exactly the same. But if I was to give my top 3 for this week, who I think will have the highest scores this week, I think it's Gawn, Houston, and Matty Rao. They're 3 blokes who I think could go bananas this week if history is anything to go by. But I'm with you for my actual captains, mate. Yeah, Big Maxi into Bont, but I don't want to get too confident. I don't reckon I'll have to use my captain this week. Hopefully just
let's go knock on wood.
Yeah, there we go. Spillsy, how about you, my man?
Yeah, Gawn VC 100%. Look what he's done against him in the past. I don't own a lot of these players, like no Dan Houston, no Welsh, no Steele. So it could be a long week for myself, no Petrarca. But I'm looking at probably breaking one of my biggest Supercoach rules this week. But I think if I was ever going to break it, this would be the week.
Debut.
A debutant captain, Zach Merritt and Zach Hay. Throw away the key. I mean, look at the consistency, boys. Like back-to-back 133s, 123. I mean, come on. I mean, safe as houses.
For the viewers,
if you start at half forward, so like the opening bounce comes up and you see this man at half forward, are you going to quickly reverse or what are you going to do?
Oh, that's a good question. But I'll probably back him in because look at the scoring. I think that was just a bit of a weird move. I mean,
I doubt whether it happened, man. But
I don't think we'll see a lot. I don't think we'll see that often at all. I mean, he was on 80 at half time against Adelaide. So look, I think he's got
the voodoo. He's got the voodoo
I know. I don't
already. He's just trying to psych him out here.
Sorry, boys. No, but I like it, Spillsy. Yep, going into Merritt, mate. Yep.
I'll bet the game. So if he goes off, it'll be great, and it'll be the cake on top of it.
Spills, you won't get DR's moment where, what was it, one time he thought that a player was lining up half forward, didn't realise that the TV was on delay for 5 minutes. He goes to check his app and his player's locked out already.
Oh, mate, it's...
Won't have that problem, Janath. I'll be at the game. So
that's it. That's exactly it. You'll see before we do.
Exactly right, mate. Exactly
I almost
right.
get a third crack at the captain.
That's brilliant. Well, we'll move on to trades then. I know a lot of this is preliminary in nature, but it comes around quickly with the Wednesday night game. So, Spills, very quickly, you're bringing in your boy, your captain, in real life as well, Saki Merritt and Hugo Garcia. I think we we can see that our trading out right now is the exact same, so we don't need to talk much about it. But Zach Williams and Riley Sanders is being traded out, and then it's just the trade-ins that even the trade-ins are almost similar. It's just we've gone for different premiums. So you've gone Merritt, Spills, DR, you've gone J Dawes, and I've gone Walshy. Interesting.
They're all different.
We'll see how this one works out.
I'm so scared. All I'll quickly say about my trades, because we're all trading out the same blokes. I have to trade out Williams if he's out because I've got those two dead rookies on the bench. And again, I'll mention it. We've already mentioned it. The big reason why I'm going Dawson this week, saving that cash, is for my next couple of upgrades. I've got that 3-week plan I've been working on. Not many downgrades on the horizon. So if I could decide between a Sarong and a Dawson, absolutely go Sarong. But it's a bit of trade philosophy, a bit of personal strategy. I'm looking for value this week. I think that's important for me, which is why I'm going Dawson.
Yeah, I like it. Similar for me, I don't want to trade Zach Williams, and I don't have to trade Zach Williams. If there was another rookie, it would have been Williams. Well, I'll tell you what, when Supercoach opened, it was Williams, Sanders, Dempsey for Sarong, Garcia, and McAuliffe. McAuliffe's dropped. Don't really want to go biggie, so went down to 2 trades. So now it's going to be Walsh or Dawson that's going to be the big decision to make. I can't get up to Merritt, unlike you. Feels very jealous of the position that you're in because Merritt is a really good trade this week. And then you've got those other guys like Sarong, Rao, but I think you should be really sticking with your boy Merritt. He's got a great fix run coming up, mate.
Yeah, I've planned for this, though. I doubled down a couple of weeks ago. I had 227K in the bank, so it was just there on a platter. I didn't have to break the team to get him in. So look, DR did talk about paying up for the Ferrari in his round review, and it's a great point. And look, I wouldn't. It really is. I wouldn't go moving mountains to get him, but look, it's been 2 weeks of preparation just to get enough money, and I've got 78K in the bank, so it's a very, very comfortable trade. And look, I'm sitting at 7K at the moment, and not that I'm not ruling myself out at all. I mean, by no means, but I just want to take just a bit of a punt at a pod, someone that, well, everyone's going on Welsh, and he's the risk, not for me anyway. I think he's off the chain at the moment, so going to be very hard watching him play. But look, I just want to own Merritt for the fun of it, being able to go to games and know that I've got him in my team. And I think he's a very, very safe captaincy option when something doesn't go right, because just every week 130. I mean, it's just so solid. Not the highest ceiling, but barely a floor. And another reason, boys, perhaps the main reason I'm going Merritt this week is because if you don't get him this week, you're probably never going to get him, because it's all about the run. He's got Collingwood, West Coast. GWS is a hard one, but then he's got North, and then Richmond, and then Gold Coast. Carlton a bit tricky, but then West Coast again. So look, it really does get easy. And then a lot of Melbourne games too, a lot of MCG and Marvel games in which Merritt does perform well at. And I think about the Port Adelaide game and the Richmond game at the MCG last year. He scored 150 plus in both of them. And just look what we saw of the Anzac Day numbers as well. Just so consistent. So I just can't see a world where Merritt bombs as a pick, and got him a bit cheaper than I anticipated. Fully prepared to pay $670 for him. So I'll take Merritt at 650K.
I think for us, DI, it's about those CBAs, isn't it? I just want to see what that CBA
only risk
out at.
Only risk.
You're exactly right, mate. Spills. Like even next week, if we can get him before West Coast and he gets 70 to 80% CBAs, and he's in the CBAs when they matter, because those are the high impact CBAs for Supercoach scoring. We want him at those when the game's on the line. Get those scaling for a ground ball, get that sort of thing.
Boys, all these picks are with risk. Every single one of them. Merritt is probably the safest, but he's the most expensive. And there is that CBA risk that we saw. Welsh, his back issues. Dawson, the bad scoring before this 1-6 and the uncertainty of Crouch. I think he's just great value, but we don't know. So all these picks, I think, present a little bit of risk, but I hope for all of our sakes that they all work out to be solid.
Very
Fingers
wise.
crossed. Touch
I
wood.
just quickly want to bookmark this as well. I think, Janath, you'll get one of your boys in, just a young, natural talent. Could be absolutely anything, really suits you. Spills in the Ferrari, mate. The young gun with the pipes out. I could
I'll
see
be
you
flexing.
down there, mate.
It's not
without
a
the roof.
rental, DR.
And
I
then
bought this one outright.
DR. Old DR
Oh,
with the
it's
dodgy
not a
Dawson.
rental.
With the old
It's not a
dodgy
rental.
Dawson.
I'll
I'm
save
going
you
there with
pennies.
budget.
I'll save you
Dodgy
pennies,
Dawson.
boys, and I'm going to buy this one outright. It's not a finance. It's not a lease.
I'll tell you what, mate. Normally the one that you just lay low and you just pounce. You pounce when the time is right. That's what you got the
Creeper.
experience there, mate.
The creeper.
Yeah.
That's actually. That
Oh,
sounds
don't
bad,
say
doesn't
that
it?
out loud.
That
Yeah.
makes me sound painful. Yeah.
You might have to
I'm
edit
not
that
gonna
one
go
out.
for creeper. I'll take that
Creeper,
one.
you reckon?
The creeper.
What a way to end, boys.
All right.
Oh, no.
Well, with that, boys, I'll just before I sign off, I just want to give a very, very big thank you to our community. You've been super patient with the merch store. It is coming, I promise.
Oh.
The problem is, Dio and I, it's been the bane of our existence at the moment because the store, we got it all loaded and it's ready to go, and we just can't get this last hurdle. So I promised you guys that in the next week we will have it up, and as sort of a gratuity, we'll have a discount of some sort to just say,
Yes,
here you
absolutely.
go. It's right here for everyone. So stay tuned for that. These wonderful beanies will be on your heads in no time. So don't you worry about that. He's been wearing it all day. I'll tell you what, he hasn't had that one off. He hasn't had that one off all week. So
Has not.
no one know how that one smells.
Showered in it, mate. Good and wet as well.
But anyways, just a very quick thank you as well to the comments that you guys have left. I know I don't want to name or single out anyone, but genuinely the comments we receive, we share each of them in our little swordplay group chat, and it's just wonderful to just see the support that you guys have, and to be mentioned amongst the best podcasts for Supercoach. It really is sort of a dream come true, because when I joined at the start of last year, I was joining a podcast and I loved it, but I had no idea this is where we'd be going. So anyways, we'll keep this up from our end, and please keep supporting us, because that's what keeps this podcast running. So thank you again. Any final words from you boys before I wrap up?
Well said, brother.
Done well, mate.
Yep.
All right.
Love it, boys.
No more words to add. Well, with that, good luck for round 7. Early turnaround, so make sure that you're alert with the Wednesday night game. Get your VC on Max Gorn if you've got Gorn in your team, and hopefully we'll see some green arrows this week, as hopefully I'll stay on top of the pod. But
Surely.
got to give these other boys a chance as well. Good luck, legends. See you guys next week.
Go,
See you,
boys. Catch that.